earlier, Brother Sultan Mohammed Zakaria. He's the Pakistan and Bangladesh country specialist, Amnesty International USA, and also working as an associate editor, South Asia Perspectives. So the topic that was assigned for him, that is Islamophobia, European modernity, and contemporary illiberalism. So on that topic, I would like to request Brother Sultan Mohammed Zakaria to contribute for this topic, and I extend the warm welcome, Sultan Mohammed Zakaria, to join even this situation with us.
First of all, my apology that I couldn't join timely, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me to be part of this quite distinguished panel of speakers. Since we already wrapped up, I would like to keep my contribution brief. So in my contribution on the topic of Islamophobia, European modernity, and contemporary illiberalism, I would like to shed lights on the historical and cultural roots of Islamophobia and its relation to European modernity. Additionally, I would like to explore the rise of contemporary liberalism and its contribution to the persistence of Islamophobia. So just to begin with, I think it is essential for us to understand that Islamophobia is not a new phenomenon, but deeply rooted in historical and cultural context. I would like to draw from Edward Said's seminal work, Orientalism. It becomes evident that the Western representation of the East have perpetuated essentially stereotypes and reinforced Western superiority. Edward Said argues that the colonial legacy and Orientalist perspectives played a pivotal role in shaping negative perceptions of Islam and Muslims. Colonial powers, driven by their imperialistic ambition, constructed a narrative that portrayed the colonized population, mostly including Muslims, as inferior and in need of European civilizing missions. These narratives served to legitimize European dominance and perpetuated a distorted and monolithic image of the Orient, of the East. By examining historical accounts, literature, and artwork producing during the colonial era, we can easily witness that the reinforcement of Islamophobic sentiments through portrayals of Muslims as fanatical, incompatible with modernity. And Said also referred that one of the key reasoning behind the influence of the colonialism on Islamophobia lies in the power dynamics. Colonial powers actually, I'd like to argue that mostly this Western scholars and artists and intellectuals, I mean, I would not say that all of them, but many of them actually reinforce this idea of the Orient through their artworks and intellectual contributions. Second, I'd like to point out that the process of European modernity, driven by the quest of self-definition and the formation of national identities, has resulted in the exclusion of Muslims within the European context. And a very famous work by Niloufar Gold, The Daily Lives of Muslims, sheds light on how European modernity's pursuits of cultural homogeneity has contributed to the perpetuation of Islamophobic narratives and policies. And as societies and the European societies underwent significant transformations during the modernization period since 17th and throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, there was a desire to establish clear boundaries of what it meant to be European. Muslims, due to their perceived cultural and religious differences, were often positioned as outsiders who threatened the unity and integrity of the European nations. This process of exclusions were further fueled by the nationalist agenda, like propagated ethnoculturally homogeneity and rejected multiculturalism. The association between association of Muslims with the other, and their portrayal as incompatible with the European values contributed to the persistence of Islamophobia within the European societies. Finally, on how contemporary illiberalism and the persistence of Islamophobia actually perpetuated, it is important to note that the rise of contemporary illiberalism significantly contributed to the persistence, the prolonging of the Islamophobia by exploiting basically the public fears and insecurities. Scholars such as Case Marty, in his book Populism, A Very Short Introduction, have extensively studied the strategies employed by the populist politicians to manipulate emotions, construct divisions between the people and the elite, and the position of Muslims as scapegoats for societal problems. There are certain case studies of how populist movements across Europe actually used Islamophobia as a tool to mobilize supports. Examples maybe the electoral campaigns of far-right movements, far-right parties, to propagate anti-Muslim rhetoric and policies, such as call for banning Islamic practices or imposing stricter immigration measures. And the discourse promoted by this populist movement construct Muslims as outsiders who pose a danger to their national security, social cohesion, and fostering an atmosphere of hostility and discrimination. While saying this, I would also like to emphasize that Muslims, while addressing Islamophobia, is quite important for the community. In my view, it is equally important for Muslim community to engage in some sort of self-reflection and address any blind spots that may exist within their own ranks. Muslims must recognize that just as they are affected by stereotypes and prejudice, are there any biases they harbor, or do they engage in practices that are not aligned with the values of inclusivity and social justice? So these are the questions that I think I'm sure the previous speakers have also stressed on, that how to reshape the Muslim community's outlook in order to foster this kind of inclusive values and the social justice. And by acknowledging and challenging their own blind spots, I think Muslims can contribute to creating a more cohesive and equitable society. And in the face of the challenges presented by the modern world, I think Muslims should strive to be a bit more adaptive, proactive agents of positive change. Because I always used to say people within my academic arena, I mean, friends and circle, that major religions if we look at the evolution of religions, that religions emerge as a force of change, and people embraced religion because religion offered some sort of relief and some sort of positive hope to people. And really religion intervened. If we look at our religion is Islam, it intervened in a society which was marred in like discriminations and all sorts of violence and restrictive social practices, regressive social practices affecting the communities. So religion emerged as a force for change, as a positive force. So we also need to ask ourselves and reflect ourselves whether we can portray religion as this force for positive change now. And this is the kind of reflection that I think is important, that this entails embracing the opportunities offered by globalization, technological advancement, and intercultural exchange. And Muslims can play a very vital role in shaping a better world by actively participating in civic life. So not within the own community, but also in the broader community, in the democratic and governance process, how they can actively participate more and contribute to the policy discussions, promoting dialogue and understanding across diverse communities. And by being open to new ideas and perspectives and actively engaging with the complexities of the modern world, I think Muslims can challenge any of their blind spots, stereotypes, and counter Islamophobia and build bridges among communities to understand between different cultures and religions. And I think it is imperative for the Muslim communities, and being Muslims, I also feel that the path towards living in dignity is through knowledge, scientific, embracing the culture of open and fostering, a community which embraces open dialogue and scientific advancement as a core to its mantra. So I think Muslim as a community, while it is imperative and important to promote the religious values and ethos, it is also important to recognize the world we live in and how we can work towards a better world, not only for the Muslim communities, but for the entire humanity, and how Muslims can take lead in some of the frontier knowledges that actually advance humanity, including in the science, technology, and all other areas. But I would like to stop here. And thank you again for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. It is my apology again that I have been late.